you're known as an athlete who has this incredible ability to suffer yet still drive. And I would say, being British, it's that British determination and grit, but we all know that not everybody has that. But from reading social media and things like that, it's very much the case that you have, and it seems to be something that you're known for. My question is, at the pointy end of a race, over that last sort of 30K, when you're really beginning to suffer, what tools do you have in your toolbox to overcome that, to be able to push on through that, to finish strong?
If I knew that, I'd probably bottle it up and try and sell it, because I know it's funny, yeah, because I actually think, yes, so the harder the course I find, the better. I think probably as an athlete, I don't have that pure natural speed. So if a course and the conditions can slow everyone else down a little bit, then I feel I've got the strength and the endurance and the determination just to tackle whatever conditions and sort of outlast most people that way. At the same time, I often feel I race with, like, I call it what I feel like the handbrakes on, and I'm not fully releasing myself and to what I can achieve. But I think, and I'll go back, that a good example is in Roth last year, and I was on the marathon, and we were quite spread out, and there's sections when I couldn't really see the women in front, and you're in that sort of you're sort of reaching halfway in the marathon. Everything's just, the first 10K felt like a breeze, but relatively felt like I felt really good. I was on track. I was pacing, I was comfortable. I was like, this is in control. This is going to be amazing. I sort of feel like the winners, Annie was way off up the road, no going to catch her, but, and I think second's a bit far ahead, but I think I got reasonable chance potentially I could pick up. But then you just get into sort of this no man's land, and there was someone very close behind me, and things were just starting to ache and slow, or it felt like, just slow down. It was a little bit more hard. And you just, at that place as well, like I try and go quite internal. And again, like we'd for that race had set a specific target of trying to run sub 3 hours, which is something I've never done before, because it's always so difficult to do a goal that's based on a time because of so many different outside influences. So it kind of just went back to, I kind of go back to, when you're starting to hurt and you're starting to suffer, it's going back to go, all right, let's break it down. I just need to get to the next aid station, and then I'm going to take on whatever hydration fluid I need to get. And it's like, okay, am I running? Right, relax your shoulders, deep breaths. I often counting just to 100. And then often it's just using like a distraction technique to stop yourself thinking of the hurt, the pain, the pushing. Other times it's actually like, just keep going, one foot in front of the other, because the more you keep going, the sooner this is over. That kind of endure of just like, actually, if you can just keep pushing a little bit, like it's going to be over sooner. Other things I've tried and worked to varying extents is actually kind of forcing yourself to smile, or as one person called it that I worked with, pulling like a Bugs Bunny face. So like that scrunching of your nose, because if you try that, if everyone tries it now, like you're scrunching it, it's impossible to do that without laughing. So if you're in a race and you're like, and if you're in a race and you're like in one of those dark places and you're having to push on, if you can make yourself do that, you kind of just laugh. And okay, you probably get a lot of other people laughing, going, what the F is this person doing? But and then other things as well, like learning to push. I try and use energy from the other athletes or the crowd. So if I can encourage someone else who's running as they go past me, or as they come the other way, it kind of feeds me back as well. And the same with trying to use the crowd. And I don't necessarily always respond, but like trying to absorb that energy and give it back. And then the other thing, if I go back to Roth, is that just that point of going, actually everybody's in the same boat, more than likely, and everyone's suffering. And I found that, I was in this no man's land and thought I was just not making any grounds, and was really kind of go, right, I've got 20K to go, I've got a half marathon still to go, and it's real, I've got to dig deep just to get there. And then I got to sort of the 30K and went around a corner, and suddenly the women that I thought were miles ahead were right there. And it's like they'd been suffering as well. And almost I was just suffering less than they were. And I was making grounds, and I was suddenly kind of, and it's in those, and my coach always says, it's the last 10K of the race where you actually start racing. Up until that, in the swim and the bike and the first 30K of the marathon, it's controlling yourself and managing yourself. And then when you get to that last 10K, then you start to race and then see what you've got. And so I think kind of, I've just got that grit and determination that I'll just outlast anybody, but I might not necessarily be the fastest, but I will just keep going through. And I don't know where it comes from, but it just, again, it might be a British thing, I don't know, but then I've been softened by the lovely Southern Hemisphere warm summers weathers and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Absolutely, that's really interesting. And it's something that I studied the mind-body connection for some time, and the more I read about it, the more fascinated I become, and the more fascinated, the more I read, and it really is quite incredible. And Andrew and I did a video recently, and I mentioned smiling there as something I use with all my athletes, and you do look like a freak, and I talk about smiling on the start line when everybody else is in that zone. But it absolutely, the signals it sends are incredible. So it's something that, it really is interesting.
I raced in Daytona in December, and it was a short race for me. So I was pretty kind of out of my depth in terms of the athletes that were on the start line were short course focused or shorter course focused. And it was pancake flat round the racetrack. Really didn't play to my strengths at all. And I tend to go quite quiet on the start line. And for some reason, before we were about to get called out, I just went really giddy and got really quite hyper and was sort of like jumping around the place and laughing and joking and with friends and almost like taking the piss out in a nice way out of the other pro athletes. And, they were going to call, it was being live streamed, and they were going to call us down to the water. And I was like saying, right, if you dance onto the camera and dance to the water, whoever does the best, I'll buy them a drink tonight, kind of thing, and trying to do that. And I actually then went on to have like one of my best swims ever of my career. And so there's something that goes, I was like, all right, maybe I need to use that again and channel that rather than actually being far too internal focused and like seeing that panic of just trying to find that way of breaking the ice and relaxing a bit and letting your body kind of come out itself.
Didn't you get 4th or 5th, Laura?
5th, yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So I was pretty, I was pretty happy in the end for the older long course athletes. I didn't have I was super stoked with my swim. Yeah, my bike was kind of solid. I'd have liked a little bit better run, but overall in that field, I couldn't complain for the end of the year.
For sure. Thanks for that. Really interesting. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Laura Siddall or Sid here. Please like and subscribe to Ironman Hacks.